Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. And yeah, Rip N Riff, we're here. We are coming to you every Monday on YouTube. Also, we're going to have plenty of cards to rip today, but we take to the recording today to some breaking news. And I don't know if you want to dive into this now or wait till we get into the football packs, but the New York Giants fire Brian Daboll. Not surprising.
Yes, that news just coming down a few minutes ago from NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, and it's tough to argue that it wasn't well deserved. And we knew Daboll and Joe Shane were on the hot seat going into the season, but they obviously had the whole ace card in their back pocket with the quarterback change that they could play at some point, and they played it. And Jackson Dart's played well. I mean, like, he obviously got concussed yesterday, but I think Jackson Dart certainly looks the part as like a franchise quarterback. The problem is the rest of the team stinks. The defense stinks. The way the team's managed stinks. And, yesterday, blowing a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Chicago Bears, weeks after blowing a huge lead against the Denver Broncos on the road. And, you just look at this defense that can't get a stop when it matters. The last 4 weeks, they've given up 33, 38, 34, 24 points. They just get absolutely torched. And you have the Cowboys game earlier in the year where they blew that one as well. The Giants could very easily be I'm not going to say they should be like 6-4, because they obviously didn't make enough plays to win the games that they didn't win, but they could be 6-4. Like, they were right there with the Chiefs in that Sunday night game. And like, if they had started Jackson Dart that week, they probably win that game, because the Chiefs, as we're seeing right now, they're just not that good. They probably should have won that Dallas game. They definitely should have won the Denver game. And, obviously the Bears game yesterday. And this, you go back to the Saints game where they have 5 turnovers on 5 straight possessions against one of the worst teams in the league. You do that against any team like that, you're not going to win football games. And you just look at all this extra stuff with the Giants, like the fact that Graham Gano keeps getting injured, and like they keep having these random games pop up here and there where they don't have a kicker. It's just like slapdick clown show buffoonery as an organization. And Daboll's the first to go, but Joe Shane's not going to be far behind him, because you look at his draft picks and like, yeah, they nailed Dart, they nailed Scatabo. They've nailed picks such as like Abdul Carter and I'm trying to even remember the other guys. They've nailed a few of these picks, but they've also whiffed horribly on, like, Evan Neal can't get on the field, Jalen Hyatt can't get on the field. Deonte Banks gets torched every time you watch the games. Like, they can't cover anybody. This defense is still a disaster. After 3.5 years, like, it's just time to turn the page and move on to the next regime.
Shane will get he's not going to get fired in season. To me, it rarely makes sense to fire a GM in season. Like, you may as well just wait till but yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how the Giants play down the stretch here, because and I don't know if they've announced who's the Mike Kafka's name.
Mike Kafka's going to be the interim coach.
Oh yeah, I see that going across the scroll right now on NFL Network. So yeah, we'll see if Jackson Dart plays next week. Obviously, concussion protocol he's got to go through now, but
if he can't play next week, they better start Jameis, because Russell Wilson ain't it.
No, I agree. Like, at this point, like, you're 2-8, you're not going to the playoffs, you're not doing anything. Let Winston go out there. If for no reason, A, the fans want that. 2, it's not Russell Wilson. Like, every time he goes on the field, like, you can almost just hear, like, and see, like, just
the groans. Yeah,
like, Russell's coming in. All right. Like, I'll be honest, yesterday I'm on the West Coast, so the timing's a little bit different. I didn't see what happened to Jackson Dart. I was in the middle of getting lunch ready, and I look down to start doing something. Then I look up and I see Russell Wilson on the field. I'm like, going back to the other game, like, switching to something else.
And look, Dart's going to have to learn how to protect himself. He takes way too many hits, and you're just not going to last as a quarterback in this league if you're taking that much contact on. Like, you have to learn how to get down and how to avoid contact. Like, Eli Manning made a career out of doing that. Like, Eli Manning made a career out of not taking the big hit, or when he did take a hit, like, he knew how to brace himself and, like, put himself in a position where he wasn't going to get pulverized. So that's something Dart's going to have to learn, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other day, right? I mean, the topic today is about the Giants and them obviously losing yesterday's game in the fashion that they did. Let me get your take on this,
Sure.
just because I'm curious. Did you have an issue with the Giants kicking the field goal on 4th and goal from the 1 to go up 10?
Not as much as other people, but not really. Like I can see it both ways. Like you don't have, listen, the Giants aren't going anywhere this year. Go for the throat, go for the touchdown, go try to punch it in. But at some point,
I get
trying
that.
to win a football game sometimes too. And it's the Bears. Like I know they have a 6-3 record, but I'm not buying the 6-3. Like the Bears got a tough schedule coming up.
The Bears are fraudulent,
and we're gonna see the real Bears coming up here in the next 6 weeks or so over the course of.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears have gotten lucky these last few weeks to pull these games out of their rear end the way they have. But so I'm not crowning Caleb Williams yet. But no, I agree with you. I see both sides of the argument as well. I think if they were up 10, then it makes more sense to go for the touchdown to try to make it a 3-possession game, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to kick the field goal to go up 13. But I think to make it from a 1-possession game to a 2-possession game makes sense there. And then, I know people were killing Daboll for that. Like that's one of the better decisions Daboll's made in the last few weeks as Giants coach. Like, it's
there's a lot you could kill him for. Like that's not the one to focus on. Like
that's correct. Yeah. So
I mean, even in the post-game press conference yesterday, when they were asking about like he's checked out. Like you could Mike McDaniel looked like he was checked out, but now Miami all of a sudden's got a little bit going for him, and it looks like they're after that win yesterday. But like Daboll had checked out, like he was done,
and it looked like the players. I mean, it looks like the players might be checking out too, which is a whole other thing.
Well, listen, they've got. If you look at the remaining schedule, Green Bay, who they have this week, Green Bay plays up and down to their opponent, so they could very well hang with the Packers. I doubt it, but because of the way Green Bay, plays to whoever the level they're playing. Lions and Patriots on the road, you're not winning. But then you got the Commanders and the Vikings at home, at the Raiders versus the Cowboys. They can close out with 4 wins.
I'm telling you right now, they're going to win 3 of the last 4 games that they play, and they're going to ruin the draft pick.
They absolutely. They'll get 3 of those 4. I don't know which one they'll drop. It's a while away, but they probably lose the next 3 and then take 3 of 4 to really just drop themselves down to like 6 or 7 from the draft.
It'd be further than that. It'd be like 8th or 9th. Look, the Giants don't have to pick, first or second. Like they got their quarterback, but like you still want essentially your pick of like whoever the best player is.
Yeah,
and if you're in a position there where you have your quarterback, and you could trade that pick and you could get a whole lot of assets back, and the Giants could certainly use like a bushel of draft picks.
Kind of like what the team across town did at the trade deadline, which we can get into later, and their victory yesterday, which just defied odds. It just goes to show how bad Dylan Gabriel and the Browns are. But let's get to the pack ripping lineup here, and let's get Rip in here. First, Jared's going to be bringing all the football today. I'll have the hockey later on. Finally opened up that hobby box I got a long time ago of the upper 2024-25 Upper Deck Series 2, so we're going to crack a couple of packs of those. Hope we're Celebrini chasing rookie Macklin Celebrini rookie chasing. Yeah, there we go. That's how you say that. He's off to a fantastic start. The Sharks are all of a sudden look like a team. Listen, I know it's a long season, but they look like a team that might hang in the Pacific Division a little bit there. I won't mind a Will Smith rookie either. You see some of the other guys there. If I get a Seamus Casey, maybe I'll send that to my boy Jared. And you got the 2 football packs today.
I do. I have the Panini Mosaic 2024 pack, just a random odd pack that I figured, all right, let's use this week as a good way to kind of burn through that one. And 1992 NFL Pro Set pack. So we're going to take this back to the past a little bit as well, which is good. I mean, the Giants took it back to the past these last couple of weeks with their throwback uniforms, which is just a S tier.
One of the few things they've gotten right this year, like that. Like I know it's part nostalgia because that's when I started watching footballs when the Giants had that look. It just looks better. That shade of blue on the helmet, the white they wear, like it's just they need to go to that full time.
And it's funny you mentioned that. I'm gonna pull this off the shelf right now because I literally just picked this up the other day when I saw that. Picked up, this helmet and obviously the classic Giants helmet as well. So
I have both of the Jets versions of the similar eras. But yeah, that Giants helmet's where it's at to me. Like that color blue, that color red, that's everything right there.
Shade of blue there. Yeah, that's just part. The Giants front It still bothers me that they have the NY on the helmet and they play in New Jersey. It's
So
just
the
one of
thing,
those weird things that bugs me.
the thing about that blue is it looks good on a sunny 1 o'clock kickoff, or it looks great under the lights for a Sunday night or Monday night game. Like it just looks sharp no matter what.
Yeah, this is a better shade of blue, but I like this one as well.
You can't go listen.
And look, they won Super Bowls wearing both of them. Like this was the Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler era, the Parcells era, and you got the Eli and Coughlin era with this one. So,
see, I have both versions of the Jets helmets, but there's not a lot of. I mean, the one where they had the white helmet with the green, which was kind of like the throwback look. The Pennington era, those were some good days, but the preferred, Jets, with the Kelly green. Not a lot of good memories with that, but we're wasting enough time here. Let's get right to the leadoff pack. Yeah, see, this is the Jets helmet this is the look I prefer, just not a great era.
No, I like that, and I like the glossy Jets helmets, the glossy green Jet helmet. I think it's such a good look.
And that's, you know what? As much as I like that glossy, there's some helmets like the Vikings when they go with the matte purple. I like that flat kind of look for them.
Yeah, I'm not as much of a fan of the matte finish, but all right, we start this pack with a Hall of Famer, and cards are sticking together a little bit, so we're gonna have to do a little work there. But we got Morton Anderson there in the yellow jacket.
Speaking of kickers, I bet you take Morton Anderson right now over Graham Gano.
Morgan Anderson's probably healthier than Graham Gano.
He could probably still get one from 40-45, I bet.
I can't believe I don't know if I really want to go down this rabbit hole, but like I can't believe the Giants are that invested in a 39-year-old kicker who's always hurt.
I don't like, to me, in a position where like people like your job securities know like how, and it's not that Gano's a bad kicker. You just can't. He might be pulled before the game, 20 minutes before. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right, we go from that to a next Giant here with Julian Love here, and the Seattle Seahawks, another big time impressive win yesterday. I'm still not necessarily buying them as a title contender just because I think the real Sam Darnold's going to show up at some point, and when it does, it's going to be ugly. But I mean, they're playing as well as anybody right now.
This is what I'll say about the NFC West, because the Rams and the Seahawks meet twice. One of those games coming up this week. Whoever doesn't, one of those teams is likely to be the top seed overall, or maybe the Eagles. It comes down to those two. Whoever doesn't is going to be the 5 seed, and they're going to have to go to either Tampa or Detroit or somebody. Like that's not going to be a good road game for whoever ends up falling to 5, just because of the way the playoff seeding works.
Nope. Let's see. We have Jerry Jeudy with the Browns, who finally found the end zone yesterday.
Yeah, I have him in multiple leagues, but I finally gave up on playing him as a wide receiver 4, and then he goes and has like 18 points yesterday.
Yep. Let's see. Justin Jefferson with the Vikings here. Kind of a quiet day as they lost to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens are right on the doorstep of being right back in the mix in the AFC North.
For the Vikings, for a second, I think they are the like quintessential 8-8 team if a 16-game schedule still existed. But yes, the Ravens, the way their schedule's coming up too, like they got a couple of, they got Pittsburgh twice, they got New England once, but the rest of the schedule is pretty winnable. They've got the Jets on there, they've got the Browns and the Bengals, I think twice on there. So Baltimore's going to get hot here.
Yep. Let's see. We have Christian Kirk, who formerly with the Jaguars. I know they played yesterday. I don't know who they played or what happened. I don't think it really matters. I don't really care. And
they lost to the Texans. They had like a 29-6 fourth quarter lead that they blew. And whoever returned the touchdown, so the game was over. Like they turned it over, and the tackle, whoever picked it up, it might have been Sheldon Rankin, could have just fallen on the ground and ended it. But he runs it into the end zone, and as he's running it into the end zone, he does one of these celebrations where he's like, and it's like he was already like a step or two into the end zone. It's like, can we stop with stupid want the ball celebration? We've seen it burn too many times. It is so stupid.
And Sheldon Rankins, who's, by the way, who's been in the league for like 15 years, like should know better. But
they just make sure that he had that touchdown before.
The guy wants to score a touchdown. I get it. He doesn't.
I don't mind him running it in because, like, I know they tell defense, like, just fall on the ball. Like, you're not a ball carrier for a reason. But, like, you can even see, like, okay, he had nothing but open field around him. He's scoop and score. But, like, don't drag the football. Like, what are you doing?
Yep. And last but not least, Najee Harris. Now he's with the Chargers. That was the Sunday night game last night, and his former team, the Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers, not looking very good in prime time.
That was a terrible game. Like
Dreadful game.
The 1 o'clock slate was pretty good Eastern. 4 o'clock slate stunk. I mean, the Rams 49ers was, 49ers hung around, but the other two games were over, but like as they started. And Sunday night games. But hopefully tonight, Eagles Packers, going to be a chilly night in Green Bay. We get something nice there.
All right. So moving on to the Pro Set pack.
Very nice.
Got that one nice and ripped. And love the old school look of these cards. We got Ray Horton here, catching a pass.
Love those cowboy jerseys. They don't wear the dark blues often, but they look nice when they do.
We have Mark Vanderpool from the Colts here. The Colts picking up a win overseas yesterday. And everything I said about Sam Darnold being a fraud and being exposed at some point, that goes double for Daniel Jones, because that's going to happen at some point too.
I mean, the Colts go as Jonathan Taylor goes. Like, if Jonathan Taylor would have missed like 2 or 3 weeks with an injury, you'd see the real Colts real quick.
Yeah, well, it's neither here nor there. Let's see. We have Darnell Thompson with the Green Bay Packers. As you mentioned, they play tonight, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles in a game where I expect the Eagles to murder them. Let's see. We have Ernie Jones with the this might be the Phoenix Cardinals back then, or if not, the Arizona Cardinals. But
nice of them to show up to Seattle yesterday for the game. It was it was like 21-0 by like 4:15 Eastern time. My God, Seahawks just jumped them yesterday.
Well, speaking of showing up to the game, the Lions showed up yesterday. Ray Crockett there with the Detroit Lions there, and by the way, nice of our esteemed leader to make his presence known at the game, showing up in the booth. But
he's got a lobby to get the new stadium named after him. So
if I were Josh Harris, I'd be like, sure, you could bid on it.
Yeah.
You certainly have enough money to bid on it. Let's see. We have Bill Brooks with the Colts. Yeah, you want to pay for the naming rights? We could certainly name it after you.
Yeah, like
otherwise,
naming rights for a football stadium could go for like 40-50 million a year, like or over a package. Like, yeah, like I'm not giving that away for free.
Yeah, and we all know that a dear leader there has a nice history of paying his bills. Let's see, Everson Walls with the New York Giants and that classic look right there.
The Giants we talked about earlier, just looking at that NFC East, like the Eagles at this point, like they might be the thing about the Eagles is they're gonna have to jockey with
sleepwalk to the division title.
They'll sleepwalk to the division, but they're still gonna have to play for stuff because they're gonna be jockeying with Detroit and LA and Seattle and Tampa Bay, so they're gonna have to play down. So it's as much as they're gonna cakewalk to the division, they still have a lot to play for.
Yep. Let's see. We have Greg Townsend with the Raiders. Let's see. We pulled Morton Anderson earlier. Now we got Gary Anderson. So we got the Anderson. They're not actually brothers, but we have the Anderson quote unquote brothers covered there.
One letter away from being brothers.
Yep.
Anderson and Anderson.
We have Irving Fryer. I don't know if I want to call him a legend necessarily, but certainly a notable player for the era. We have a Nick Lowry milestone card here of his 900th point season as a kicker.
It is a kicker heavy edition here on this edition of Rip N Riff here. Nick Lowry is a very good kicker though.
I was gonna say we could start a new segment called Just for Kicks. We have a 91 replay AFC divisional playoff card here. Talking about recapping the Bills' win over the Chiefs.
That was
when we talk about Bills' wins over the Chiefs, because time's a circle, right?
That's true, because I mean that was back when Montana was the quarterback that they beat them in the AFC Championship. And now what's funny is now with the way New England's playing, we all thought like, all right, Buffalo, Kansas City, if there's a rematch in the playoffs, it's likely going to be in Western New York. I don't know anymore. If New England ends up walking away, like if they win the East,
that was as bad a loss as there's been all season. Buffalo losing in Miami.
And it's not like, all right, they lost a hard-fought, close game. A bounce goes the Dolphins' way, and you're like, all right, not ideal, but hey, it's close. Like, so on Sundays I coach my daughter's basketball team, so I miss a little bit of the early action. And I checked my phone, and I saw it was like 16-0 Miami in the third quarter. I was like, what? Like, how does that even happen?
I haven't really been keeping track with like Circus Survivor and all the Survivor pools and whatnot, just because I obviously don't play Circuit Survivor, and I'm not in a Survivor League. I would imagine that game wiped out like
assuming you still had
50% of the
Buffalo to
remaining
use.
field.
But yeah. I mean, I don't know how many people would have still had Buffalo to use, but
But if you still had Buffalo, you probably used them yesterday.
Probably did. I mean, people be like, "Oh, road division game." It's like, all right, well, let's look at the Dolphins and let's look at the Bills. I understand the road division thing, and maybe that's something you consider. If it's the Colts going to like Jacksonville or Houston, maybe you back off a little bit. But no, the only thing I will say is maybe that's the loss that gets Buffalo going. Maybe they just win out.
That's the wake up call they need. Yeah.
But that's a bad.
But I think it's also possible Buffalo is just like they're good, but they're not like title good.
What I don't understand is why didn't they go and add a receiver at the deadline? Like other teams went out and did it. One of the things about Buffalo is, and I know Kansas City has proven they can go all the way and win with a bunch of say no names at wide receiver and not having a Tyreek Hill. But I don't know, man. That was the weakness for Buffalo coming into the season. It's the window is closing. It's not like the window's starting to come down here. Like you got to do something. And like
I mean, the only receiver that moved
Shakir.
Right. Well, I mean, the only receiver that moved at the deadline was Rashid Shaheed, right? And that was what, a 4th and a 6th? Like you couldn't have done a 4th and a 5th, or
like I'm not saying go out and get Jalen Waddle, especially Dolphins aren't going to be keen on dealing him in the division or something like that. But like Chris Olave, mean to tell me New Orleans wouldn't have maybe parted with him a little, and also maybe overpay. Maybe it's sometimes you just to go and get somebody, just overpay and let people say what they want to say. But if you get a ring, it's not an overpay anymore. If it pays off. And Buffalo all of a sudden now, I don't know.
All right, I got a couple more here, and then we can go through the lines for Week 11. Richmond Webb, AFC Pro Bowl card here.
Speaking of the Dolphins,
yeah, remember when the Pro Bowl they actually used to play the game? Let's see. We have Michael Irvin, receiving yardage leader. We have a Super Bowl replay card of Edwards' first of 2 interceptions here in the first quarter.
That was it was not a good Super Bowl. That game was over by halftime.
No, and your 2 ways to win insert card here as well. So
2 ways to win, not just one.
No, there's 2 ways to win. There's a hologram and there's some other stuff, and I don't know. I don't have a hologram, so
I've got a second way to win. I want to know all about it.
It's probably a little late for me to try to win the trip to the Pro Bowl or win some Emmitt Smith memorabilia.
I will say with the Pro Bowl, I did like.
Oh, it opens up. It's like a little scratch off.
Oh, okay. There we go. See if you win.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's scratch it off.
I will say with the All-Star games and the Pro Bowls and all that, like to me, like I like that baseball went back to like, okay, you're wearing your normal uniform, just home or away, rather than having set All-Star jerseys. I always thought that was a nice touch for the MLB All-Star game. Football was always nice because they wore their helmets. They still had the jerseys back in the 90s were also a lot nicer, I felt like, for the Pro Bowl. Back when they used to go to part of the appeal of losing the Pro Bowl was wasn't even for pro athletes back in those days. It wasn't easy to just get to Hawaii on a vacation the way like it is now for like a lot of these guys that probably have access to private jets and stuff. So there was a reward, like, hey, you get to go to Hawaii. There was appeal to it, like, but play at the old Aloha Stadium. All the All-Star games are pretty much done. No defense in the NBA. The NHL can't figure out what to do in non-Olympic years. Baseball is the last one that's kind of still like somewhat okay. We win.
Is it possible for like the rub off to like not work after like 30 years? So like I'm trying to do it and it's like not really rubbing.
What are you using? Like a quarter or something?
I use like a spoon and then I used my nail.
Well, if a spoon's not doing it, then I think that's probably it right there. If that's not helping you.
Yeah.
Well, we tried. We'll never know. Never know. What makes you feel better is getting the week 11 picks here. So let's kick that.
Yeah, we can get right into that.
All right, it's time for week 11 early picks here. We each throw 3 out there. I am 0-2 on the week with the Eagles pending tonight. Jared 2-0 on the week with the Eagles plus 2.5 tonight. So he can have his second straight 3-0 week because he had the Chargers who easily covered the 3. The Colts who by the skin of their teeth cover the 5.5 over in Berlin. I had the Bills -9.5. The Jaguars plus a point and a half. That I was not salty about the end zone celebration because if he had just gone down, the Jaguars would have covered by the hook. No, that had nothing to do with it. And I was almost going to take the Giants plus 4.5, and whatever. That's how it goes.
Of course, I would go 5-0 the last 2 weeks when I don't actually put any actual money on these games. Like,
there you go.
Of course, that would happen.
Yeah, that's when that's how it always works. Now, let's see if maybe there's something that you like that you put money on and you hit this week. So we're starting off with Thursday Night Football, AFC's clash, Jets, Patriots. Patriots 11.5 point favorites, totals 43.5. I know there's been good vibes for the Jets here. They win, when the day Nick Mangold dies in Cincinnati and Ohio, and then they honor him at the stadium yesterday, and they beat the Browns 27-20 in a game where the Jets pretty much did not that much on offense, and Cleveland just handed the game. It's a large number. I know the Jets are playing better, but again, like the way the Patriots are playing right now, I'm staying away from this. It wouldn't surprise me to see them cover the number, but that's big.
Yeah, I'm not touching this one.
Maybe if it comes down a tiny bit, but I doubt that many people would be putting money on the Jets there. Now we have our last international game after that on the docket of the year. It's gotten to a point where it's too many, but it's just such a part of the process now for half the season that I don't even care. It's whatever. But you got the Commanders at the Dolphins, this time in Madrid. Dolphins 2.5 point favorites. This is also a stay away spot because the Commanders have Mariota quarterback. Dolphins are, you don't know if they're playing for Mike McDaniel or whatever. I'm staying away from this. Total 47.5, same deal.
These international games are so bad. And I see them come up on the schedule and I'm like, I'm not fucking getting up at 8:30 to watch this shit. Absolutely not. And it's going to be the same thing again this week. I'm not getting up early on a Sunday morning, especially after playing cards all night the night before to watch Tua and the Dolphins against Marcus Mariota and the Commanders. The hell no.
Well, that's the thing. All right, so let's talk about that for a second here. If it was and not that they would burn a marquee matchup, but let's say they had Eagles-Lions, which is the Sunday night game this week. If that was an international game, are you waking up early to watch something that is going to be that competitive, or is it just football's long enough on a Sunday? I'm not starting at 3 hours earlier before with breakfast.
I mean, I would be more inclined to check it out if it was actually a good game, and I know they can't really predict this. But
you're looking at Commanders Dolphins on the schedule at the beginning, that had potential to not be a good game. That wasn't both starting quarterbacks are out, blah blah blah. That had a chance to be a bad game out of the gate. So sometimes I don't get why they pick some of these matchups. They get a little too.
No, I completely agree.
So nobody's touching those two games. Now we get to the early 1 o'clock slate on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Texans at the Titans. Texans 7.5 point road favorites. Total 38.5. Titans coming off a bye here. I might be intrigued to take the Titans to cover at home. I mean, it depends if CJ Stroud is back or not, because that's a big factor too. I know Davis Mills got him a win yesterday, but that was more the Jaguars just completely failing to show up for an entire quarter of football than the Texans. And I know they got a good defense, but Jaguars should have won that game yesterday.
I have no feel for any of these AFC South teams, so I'm going to pass on this one.
All right. Packers at the Giants. Packers 8.5 point road favorites before their Monday night matchup tonight. We'll see if that changes at all after that game. Total 44.5. Don't know who's going to be a quarterback for the Giants yet. Could be Jackson Dart. He doesn't get the concussion protocols. At Russell Wilson, it's James Winston. Anytime there's uncertainty, I'm staying away.
Yeah, I would wait. If I were going to lean one way or the other, I'd probably lean towards taking the points with the Giants, but I'm not going to take this one.
Because the Packers tend to play up and down to their opponent, short week, have to go on the road. Yeah, I might be inclined to lean Giants points there. Now we got two teams coming off of losses here. The Buccaneers at the Bills. Bills 5.5 point home favorites. Totals 49.5. I would probably go over, and this might be one of my picks here. I mean, because Baker has that magic on the road. It's going to be a big game for both. You don't know, if I was going to pick a side, it would be Tampa, but I do like the over here. I think there will be a lot of points scored.
And I agree with you on all accounts. I will probably take Tampa, but let's see what else the rest of the card has.
I'm typing it up, so that means I'm very likely to take that. Now we got Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons 3.5-point home favorites, 42.5 the total there. Carolina Panthers coming off an embarrassing home loss to the Saints yesterday. Falcons put up a fight over in Berlin, but ultimately losing overtime to the Colts. Last time these two teams met in Charlotte, Carolina beat the doors off them 40-0. I'd maybe consider the Falcons to cover, but this is a stay away game for me. It's just two unknowns here.
Stay away.
Two very mediocre. Who the hell knows what you're going to get out of them? Now we got an NFC North clash between the Bears and the Vikings. Vikings 3-point home favorites, total 48.5. Another probably stay away spot for me because the Bears just keep having these last second, or late comebacks against mediocre teams. Vikings can't really trust one way or the other, so stay away from me.
It's not good that I keep saying let's see what the next one on the card is, but let's see what the next one on the card is.
Tampa Bay Buffalo over 49.5 for me. The way this card is going is already pretty much locked in as one of my three. Finish typing that up. All right, next we've got the Chargers at the Jaguars. Chargers 3-point road favorites after their impressive victory over a lackluster performance. Steeler team, by the way, that was a Steeler home game last night, despite the fact of being at SoFi Stadium. Totals 44.5. I might be inclined to take the Jaguars with the points at home because I still don't trust the Chargers. And the Jaguars off a letdown, maybe they come back fire and they're at home. They know this is going to be a key game for AFC wildcard positioning later in the season. I might take the Jaguars with the points just because this card is not great, and I could see the Chargers letting down and the Jaguars bouncing back.
I lean towards the Chargers. I don't know if I'm going to take them, but I lean towards laying the 3 points with the Chargers in the road. I do hate the fact they're traveling cross country, but I mean, I feel like teams sort of manage that now, so they'll probably leave on like a Friday or something. So that's my initial lean for that game.
AFC North clash, Bengals, Steelers. Steelers 5.5-point home favorites, totals 50.5. I'd like to see what the weather is for Sunday too, because my initial lean is I know that went over last time there was points scored. I would think there would be an under this time, but I got to see what the weather looks like here. In terms of a side, it's a lot of points. I might even take the Bengals on the road. I know the Steelers want to get them back for the losing last time around, but Steelers have not looked good the last couple of weeks, but that's also exactly when Aaron Rodgers tends to strike, coming off of not a great performance. They bounce back. Key divisional home game. They know they need the victory in the conference. It's time to start thinking about AFC wins. So
I can tell you right now, I'm going to take the Bengals plus 5.5.
All right, lock it in for Jared.
Lock that one in.
All right, next game we got. Now we're in the 4:00 Eastern window here. We got the Niners at the Cardinals. Niners 2.5-point road favorites, 48.5. The walking wounded, they should call the 49ers. Cardinals, yes, they scored some points in the second half, but Seattle was already kind of like playing off at that point to a degree. Arizona might play them tough, but I'm not touching this one.
I don't think I'm going to touch this one either.
Because there's nothing, maybe the total if you wanted to, if you think it's going to be a high scoring affair, but I doubt that. Seahawks Rams game of the week here. Rams 3-point home favorites, totals 48.5. Is this where maybe the Sam Darnold gets exposed for being, maybe I'm not going to say, listen, Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. I'm not taking that away from him, but he's not, he can be exposed. And maybe this is a week where a defense like the Rams can, bet.
Oh, well, there's only one way to find out, right? That's why we play the games.
I look at the total here. Maybe I lean over that, might become a pick here as we have a few more games to go through. Ravens at the Browns. Ravens 8.5-point road favorites, total 41.5. I don't really have anything here. Maybe the over, maybe the Ravens cover, but Jim Harbaugh, and maybe this is a reason to take the Ravens. He even addressed it in his press conference yesterday, like talking about the upcoming opponent. Like, it's never easy when we play Cleveland. He said basically something along those lines. They always give us a fight and they always present problems. So either that theme maintains true, or they know that and they come out and beat them up.
No, I agree. I mean, it feels like the Browns have had, I don't want to say their number, but they've had their share of success against the Ravens the last few years. I would probably lead Browns with the points or nothing, but I don't think I'm going to play that one.
That's a 4:25 kickoff because that'll be the B game for CBS with Chiefs Denver's being the America's game of the week. We'll call it. Chiefs 3.5-point road favorites at the Broncos, total 43.5. A lot of people have been saying, hey, Denver is, they're getting by the skin of their teeth. Here's a week that they might get exposed with the Chiefs coming to town. The game is in Denver. I might take the Broncos with the points at home and knowing that it may come down to the hook. But, the Chiefs might win, but I think it's going to be close.
That extra hook's what kills you, though, right? I mean, it's that extra half point. If it were 3, I think I would take the Chiefs. Because it's 3.5, I think I'm just going to stay away from it.
And I know Broncos have a good defense. Chiefs have a good defense. The total's kind of low to me at 43.5, so I might throw the over in the maybe pile there. 2 more games here on Sunday Night Football. If you didn't think Rams Seahawks was the game of the week, Lions Eagles would be the other contender. Total 49.5. Eagles 1.5 home favorites. Of course, this is before Monday Night Football hits, so who knows what they sustain an injury or something like that. If I was going to take something, it would be the Lions with the points. I might also look total 49.5. I could see the game maybe going over 2, but I'd lean more towards Lion, but I'm staying away.
I would agree with you.
All right. So one last game to go through here before we make our 3 picks is the Monday Night Football clash between the Cowboys and the Raiders. Total 50.5. Cowboys 3.5-point road favorites. I mean, who the heck knows? I mean, Dallas should win the game. Does Pete Carroll put up a fight at home on Monday night against the Cowboys, which it should be an interesting mix in the crowd. I'm staying away from this, but I'm not touching this one.
I think I'll lay the 3.5 with Dallas.
Okay. But
I don't think Dallas is good, but they're pretending to be good. Obviously, they made the trades they made last week to beef up their defense. They're coming off the bye. It's a road game, but I don't think it necessarily matters because the Cowboy fan travels, and they will travel to Vegas. I don't trust Geno Smith, who hasn't really played well at all this year. So, you know what? I'll lay the 3.5 points there. The Cowboys, they got a running game. They got CeeDee Lamb's healthy. Dak's been okay. They got Pickens. I think they could lay 3. I think they can cover the 3.5.
All right, so let's see here. So I've got 2 of my picks down. I have to decide on my third one. Tampa Bay Buffalo over 49.5. I'm going to take that KC Denver over 43.5. I could see that being like a 24-20, 27-23 kind of game. So I think that I'm going to jump on that. I still have to figure out what my third pick is going to be here. You have the Bengals plus 5.5 at Pittsburgh. You took the Cowboys minus 3.5 on Monday Night Football.
And I'm going to take the Buccaneers plus 5.5 as well.
Buccaneers at Buffalo. Because even if Buffalo wins, Baker's going to rally late. There's going to be a chance for them to take a lead, like a touchdown or something. So, I like that.
And I think they could win the game outright.
They could win the game outright. Let's see which Buffalo team shows up. For my final pick, I don't love a lot this week. But you know what? I'm going to take the Jaguars with the points at home. I think it'll keep it close with the Chargers. I like that. And I know you said you got the Chargers. Went opposite on, but let's see if the Jaguars can burn me 2 weeks in a row after I took them with the 1.5 on the road at Houston, or 2.5, whatever it was, didn't matter. And then Jaguars plus 3 at home this week. So see how that goes. Now let's get to we got some hockey packs to rip here. It's been an interesting first month of the season. Jared's Devils just doing what they got to do. Taking care of business. It's them in Carolina in the Metropolitan Division, and then we'll see a further notice about everybody else. But you got to feel good about your Devils early in the season.
It would be nice if they didn't lose a player to injury every time they play, because it seems like they're doing that. Like they lost Dougie Hamilton last week against Montreal, but it sounds like that might only be like a week or so. So hopefully he won't be out too long. But they're basically down like the right side of their defense. I'll already spoil what I'm writing about this week on All About the Jersey. Like the NHL in general just has an injury problem. It's something Elliot Friedman alluded to in his 32 Thoughts column, and like I don't know how they fix it.
When you say by injury problem, just like it's just too
frequent. There's too many notable players that are injured, and it's ultimately just not good for the league.
So the easy solution is you cut down on the back of the, if you were going to just cut down on the back-to-backs, but then you stretch out the season more, and the NHL is trying to actually get that season to be bumped up a little bit so the Stanley Cup could actually be awarded near Memorial Day and not closer to mid-June. But I don't know the answer to that question, but but yeah, it does seem like injuries. It just seems like goaltending overall in the NHL is just down a tiny bit there in terms of quality across the board. We start with Gus Nyquist here with the Predators, who are very mid and not doing much this year. He is not with the Predators anymore, though. I believe. Who did he sign with this offseason? He's with somebody now. Here's where
we're doing the Charles Barkley, who he played for a bit, and I can't.
It's not Minnesota, right? He didn't go up there, but maybe he did.
I want to say Winnipeg.
No, it is Columbus. Jeez, it's not even. Where's he right now? Winnipeg Jets. Okay, there we go.
Oh, there we go. I got.
You know what? That makes sense. That's like a perfect Winnipeg Jets, like middle of six signing there. Let's see here. So we got Mackenzie Weegar, who the Flames have not been off to a good start. No surprise there. They're not a good team. They can't score. Weegar not doing much in the offensive department. That's not really his game. Let's see here. We've got Marcus Johansson, speaking of the Wild, who are on a pretty good of a point streak. I know he had a 6-game point streak lately. I don't know if he was able to extend that to 7, but Mojo doing his thing up there with the Wild.
Yeah, he's having a solid year.
All right. So next up, we've got Jack Drury here, picture with the Hurricanes. He was part of that trade, I believe, to the Avalanche there
the
for
Rantanen trade.
Right, yeah. Rantanen trade, yeah, because he's getting some quality minutes with Colorado. Let's see here. Speaking of the Hurricanes, we got Bradley Nadeau. Let's see here. Upper Deck Portraits. That's a pretty one there. Not bad.
Oh, nice.
Let's see here. A lot of Wild today. We got Marcus Foligno, but in the sharp green and yellow Minnesota North Star throwback here. Another Hurricane here. Jalen Chatfield, the Hurricanes. Minnesota, Carolina, heavy pack here. And throw the Predators in the mix with Jeremy Lozone. Pictured there. Let's see what else we got. We got Sean Corrali. This pack kind of mid. Vitek Vanacek, labeled as the Sharks, pictured with the Devils, traded to Florida, and now Utah. He's played with a lot of teams since picture there.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a journeyman.
We got Wyatt Johnston here, electricity with the city's thing there. He's heated up lately, Johnston. He's been going for them. And last in the pack here, we got Lars Ellers. Looks like acetate here. Nice card, but maybe not the guy we wanted for that. But nice clear. See it a little bit here. Let's bring it up.
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
nice card.
It'd be nice if it wasn't Lars Eller, but yeah, I agree with you.
A good player. I got no problem with Lars Eller. If you need a fourth line center, you could do a lot worse than him. But not so much for terms of collecting here. Now, I do have another pack here. Let's see if we could do it better. I got a bunch of packs, so we'll be blowing through these over the next few weeks.
We can do one more.
We can do one.
Do one.
I don't pre-rip my packs. I prefer to open them raw on the air.
You just raw dogging it?
I like to raw dog these packs. All right, let's see what pack number 2 out of this box will behold here. We got a Luke Glendening pictured with the Lightning there. Lightning seem to have gotten. We got Nick Paul there also pictured with the Lightning. So Tampa Bay seems to have gotten going after a slow start. That Atlantic Division. I know Montreal's playing well, but it's kind of wide open. I mean, Toronto's up there. Florida obviously has struggled with the injuries they've had. I know Tampa's
Boston's going on a winning streak, so they're back in the mix. The only thing I'm confident in is that Buffalo's not going to make it.
Buffalo, here's the thing. Watching them play, they actually play teams tough, and they play teams close. They don't get a lot of wins, but they are, ever since early in the season, they're really not getting blown out. So they know how to keep things close. We got Jaden Struble here with speaking of the Canadians in the Atlantic Division there. Jakob Dobes off to a fantastic start. Let's see what we got here. Next up in the pack, we've got Martin Papaseal here with the cool looking Flames jersey there. A little bit of a different throwback look. We've got Michael Kesserling with the Utah Mammoth Hockey Club last year and pictured with the Coyotes there. Shout out Coyotes. We've got Erasmus Anderson here with the Calgary Flames. Dakota Joshua with the Vancouver Canucks. So the good news with these packs being crappy is that we know there are better ones in the box to come. So we'll hopefully get those in the coming weeks here. We got Jordan Eberle with the surprising Kraken out of the gate. Shea Theodore here with the Vegas Golden Knights. Have you taken a look at the Pacific Division standings yet?
I can do it right now.
Like, pull them up, because it's like Anaheim is, and I'm not going to say they're Stanley Cup contenders, but Anaheim is for real in terms of being a playoff team, a team that you absolutely have to look out for on the West. I know the Sharks will come back down to earth. I know Edmonton's been struggling, but hey, they don't have goaltending, so that the goaltending is reflective of their position in the standings. Kings are right where they expect to be. Vegas right where they're expected to be, but Seattle's hanging tough too. So it's maybe a little bit of a shift in the in the Pacific.
Yeah, it looks like Anaheim's arrived. Obviously, that's where you were going when you said, "Hey, have you looked at the standings here?" But I still think Edmonton will be heard from. They know how to navigate a 82-game season, and like I have a hard time believing a team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl as their top two players is going to miss the playoffs. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that. So, but yeah, Anaheim looks like they're ahead of schedule. They score a ton of goals. They've been fun to watch. They're young players like Leo Carlson. Leo Carlson's been awesome. Cutter Gauthier has been awesome. I think the thing I wasn't necessarily expecting, I did expect Chris Kreider to, do Chris Kreider things and like score goals. I wasn't expecting Jacob Truger to be good again.
And Joel Quenneville, stuff that happened off the ice in Chicago aside, we're not going down that path. He's one of the best coaches of all time, and he's not a hanger-on where it's like, oh, he's Joel Quenneville, he's only there for the name. The proof is in the pudding. And the Anaheim Ducks have two strong top lines. They're getting a well-balanced defensive group there. Lucas Dostal is for real. He is their goalie of the now and the future. And Mrazek is, whenever he gets to play in the backup spot, I'm on the West Coast. I watch a lot of West Coast hockey. This is a result of what good coaching can do. And yes, I know they brought in a couple of different people, and Greg Cronin wasn't getting it done last year. Bennett Seneca is another one. When they took him third overall last year, people were like, "Oh, that's a little bit of a reach." Blah blah blah. Guy's in his second season, and the guy's producing like consistently, and he's a key part of that lineup too. So everything's hunky dory in Anaheim,
and they have enough flexibility and freedom to. They got a ton of cap space still, even signing all their guys. Like they do still have to sign Carlson and Gauthier, and that's gonna, eat into their cap in the future. But they got the space now, and they got the draft picks now to go out and get whatever they want at the deadline.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, you have cap space, but you're saving it for situations like this. Like I said this before, before the season, even last year. I'm like, Leo Carlson is going to be the Anaheim Ducks version of Andre Kopitar. He's going to be a bona fide top line center that just does nothing but have really strong seasons for 15 straight seasons, 15 straight years. That's what Leo Carlson's going to be. And it's not just based off of, because he does the other things. He plays a 200-foot game. It's not that he's just putting the puck in the net over the last month. He plays the whole rink. So if you get a chance to watch some Ducks late night, you're looking for something to flip around to, definitely something worth watching. We have our first young guns of the day. This one is Nolan Allen with the Chicago Blackhawks. And then two more cards to go here in this one. We got Marco Casper, outburst parallel with the Red Wings. So that's one to maybe hold on to if he gets going. And then last but not least, one of the more likable players and goalies of all time, the Ooh La La series here with Marc-Andre Fleury. And I can't think of a better goalie to have an Ooh La La card than Mr. Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, maybe like Dominic Hasek, I suppose, would be the other one.
Yeah. I mean, Fleury, I don't know if we'll ever see a guy that like a goalie that just has that kind of character and just takes over the game, the pranks with Crosby, the back and forth for all those years. Even like when he wasn't on the same team as Pittsburgh. Oh, the Penguins are in town tonight. Cool. I'm going in the visiting locker room. I'm doing something. Like it's just that's cool. There we go. So we talked a little bit NHL there. Any other things in the NHL we'll say 1 month into the season here as we're on November 10th here, excuse me. Happy Veterans Day tomorrow, and thank you for everybody who served and made the ultimate sacrifice or came back and still had to sacrifice their time. Thank you. We appreciate you. But anything else in the NHL that jumps out at you at this first? We can talk about the Rangers.
Yeah, I feel like we're bearing the lead if we don't talk about them. I mean, they still haven't won a home game yet. They nobody has scored fewer goals in the league than the New York Rangers. This looks like They look like a team that's sort of in the mushy middle, and they don't know exactly what they want to be.
Mushy middle. I like that term. This is what I'll say and I said this on Total Hockey Now, which will be Thursdays, at 5:00 Eastern, and we run the board, give picks for the whole night. So check that out. They've been without Vinny Trocheck for the bulk of the season. He was out after game 2 or 3 or whatever it is.
And he's going to be in tonight.
And he's come off. He's going to be back tonight. I guess he's an important key part of that offense, but maybe he's way more important to that top 6 in that locker room than we thought. Like, they put the C on him for a reason. Excuse me. No, JT Miller's the captain.
JT Miller.
I was going to say they should have put the C on Trocheck. We'll see if all of a sudden the Rangers get a few tonight and the offense starts going. Okay, now we know he's just that integral to their offensive flow, which is scary, but at least okay. There was a problem. Now we know what the remedy is, and now we have to figure out how to not be that one-dimensional and figure out a way to produce when he's not in the lineup. But if the offensive woes continue, say another game, 2, 3 games, down the line after Trocheck returns and gets a little bit of rust off, I don't know what you do at this point. I think if the offense continues to be that bad, listen, I know you made moves at the deadline last year to maybe bounce back and be a playoff team this year and try and make another run at it. Maybe it's just over. If the offense if you can't score, then what is that good as that Igor Shesterkin contract? Like, I'm not saying gut and rebuild, but maybe you're gonna, with Panarin gone next year, you're gonna, and him wanting to have unreal expectations of what he should be paid. Maybe the opportunity is there to do a soft reboot.
They feel like a team that I can't imagine James Dolan signing off on a full-blown rebuild. Like, I know they had the whole thing a few years ago with the letter and whatnot, but they still kept like notable pieces. But like, let's also be real. Like, the reason why they turned around as quickly as they did is because like Adam Fox only wanted to play for them. Panarin decided to go there as a free agent. Jacob Trouba wanted to be traded there and all that sort of stuff. Now maybe they'll get a situation like that in the next 2 years, 18 months, however long, where, some stuff falls in their lap because they're the Rangers and they're an original 6 team, and, teams like them get breaks like that. But I mean, they look like a team that really needs to tear it down and rebuild. And it's a little tough to do that when you paid the goalie as much money as you're paying them, and you're paying Adam Fox what you're paying them, and you're sort of stuck with the Mika Zibanejad. I can't say Zibanejad contract, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, there's a lot of letters in that name. There's not a lot there. And like the fact that like they're playing like Connor Sheary as much as he is, like, what are we doing here? Like,
Taylor Radish is leading the team, or was up there in terms of goals scored for the team.
And like, Taylor Radish is a cast off. I mean, like that's not a guy you're looking to for offense. Like, he might only score like 3 more goals the rest of the year.
The other reason why I'm not concerned, at least yet, is for as bad as things have been, they're still 7-7-2. They're not, looking around the NHL like Calgary's 4-11-2. I know Calgary's supposed to be bad, but the record is not that pitiful where it's like, okay, you've got some ground to make up now. Like, I mean, as bad as things are, they're 6 points out.
They'll eventually start winning home games, but also like they're not going to keep winning on the road at a 7-1-1 rate.
Oh, and
so it's going to balance out.
Come back. One will come one way, the other will come the other way.
I don't think they're a playoff team.
Coming into the year, I thought they might have been the 4th best team in that division, but Pittsburgh, if they keep playing, the way they've been playing, Philly, they're not sexy, but like they're 8-5-2 right now for a team that really you don't look at as like, oh, they're playing well, but they're still there. Islanders, who knows? Capitals, I think they'll get going, but yeah, I think you're
getting 3 teams out of the Metro. I think you're going to get the other 5 out of the Atlantic. And I'm not sure who that 3rd team in the Metro is going to be. Like, the only ones I feel confident about are Carolina and New Jersey right now.
So yeah, Carolina, New Jersey for sure. And if I'm not ready to put Pittsburgh in that mix yet, but I mean, if we're still talking about the Penguins hanging around, rolling into the next year, then yeah, I'd have to consider that. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-3 situation. It's still too early. Jury's still out on me on that situation. But yeah, back to the Rangers. There's a lot of reasons to hit the panic button. I'm trying all I can to not hit that panic button. but it's coming. I mean, and I know they say New Yorkers can't be sold on the idea of a rebuild. You know what? They did sell us on it once, and people did go along with it when the Rangers and Jeff Gorton sent out that letter to the back in whatever it was 2015, like, hey, gonna trade some fan favorites. Sorry, And New York, I think the Ranger fan base, I think at that point was like, you know what? All right, fine. We've had this window. They lost to the Devils in the conference finals in 2012. They got to the Stanley Cup in 2014. They got back to the conference finals, and maybe it was time. But then, like you said, they pulled the panic button on it. They not the panic button. They cut it short because Panarin wanted to come, Fox wanted to come, and instead of trying to stay the course, they were just like, screw it. They did what the Rangers always do, and now here we are. Because again, yes, they got to the conference finals 2 years in a row, and against they played and they ran into the Panthers. Bottom line is, the window's closed. Like unless there's a massive turnaround, even if Trocheck gets the team going and they're playing well, what's the ceiling for this team? First round exit? Maybe they sneak into the second round. Doubt it.
Yeah, probably first round exit. I mean, it depends who they play.
Yeah, and things can change. But yeah,
let me ask you this question: are we sure that Mike Sullivan's a good coach?
Like when you look at the way Pittsburgh's playing now, I'm not going to say Mike Sullivan's like, oh, he was riding Crosby's coattails. I mean, listen, the guy's got his name on a Stanley Cup for a reason. But the adjustment period for a new coach, we're over a month into the season here. Like that's supposed to be, wearing off by now.
Right.
So, again, it's a long season. The American Thanksgiving is usually that cutoff time of like where you start to see who the teams that are going to be in the mix of the playoffs and who's going to be more concerned about the draft lottery. Still got a couple of weeks away from that. Thanksgiving's late this year, but it has not been good for the Rangers out of the gate this year.
If you can't beat Nashville at home tonight, that will tell me a lot about this team because Nashville is not very good and
they can't score.
Saros is struggling. Steven Stamkos looks completely washed up. I mean, the smartest thing the Lightning ever did was let him leave in free agency.
Well, like you said, tonight we'll see, Trocheck back in the lineup. If that doesn't give if like getting a heart and soul guy that also is a key contributor, in multiple phases of the game, if that doesn't jumpstart you to get 2 or 3 goals minimum at home against the Predators team,
nothing will. Yeah,
nothing will. So there and listen, folks, we did a lot of football and hockey today. This is what it's going to be a lot for the rest of the way. This is the 2 sports Jared and I love. So we're going to be doing a lot of this in the coming months here as we get into holiday season and all that. Don't forget, you can reach out to RipNRiff@gmail.com. Now, I know there's been a lot of production going on for Jared Moore Poker. A lot of VO in the books, if I'm correct.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yes. I will get back to making more shorts this week and try to get them all done through the end of the year so I don't have to think about it during the holidays.
Yeah, last thing we want to do is think during the holidays. That's ultimate just kick back and veg out season. Total Hockey Now, I mentioned earlier, on Thursdays with myself at Fuzzy Chris 91 and at Ant Rivera 86. Fantasy betting, and we run the board that night. For the schedule, we give you picks from every game, or try to. Between the 3 of us, usually we cover all of them. But yeah, always good stuff there. But that'll do it for this edition. Rip and Riff here on the Rip and Riff YouTube channel. We're at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. Next Monday, we'll do more NFL picks, more hockey talk, more NFL talk. Thanks for watching. Thanks for ripping some packs along with us. See you next time on Rip and Read.